It has been confirmed that Bayern Munich are in to sign Harry Kane. Today, they submitted a 70 million plus add-ons bid to Spurs. It was rejected. However, in the coming days, they will submit a second bid, and it is expected that Daniel Levy might actually accept, and Harry Kane could leave Tottenham finally. So, I propose to you this question: what is your initial reaction to this news that Harry Kane might actually leave Spurs?
Look, I'm completely shocked because look, we have talked about earlier in the season that Harry Kane might leave, but it wasn't to Bayern Munich. And look, I thought Bayern Munich should have been in the running for Harry Kane since the beginning because that's a perfect fit. I mean, ever since they've been struggling to fill in that gap since losing Robert Lewandowski, trying to fill it in with Sadio Mane, and it looks like they're gonna get rid of Sadio Mane, and now they put all their attention on Harry Kane, and that's a perfect fit. I think it's good for both parties. Look, Spurs, I don't think they know they're not going to be in contentions to win anything like always, like a Spurs team will always be. But Bayern Munich have kind of been, in a lull a bit. I mean, they're a very deep team defensively, but in the midfield, but in attack, they've been kind of a little bit lackluster. I mean, having to rely on Choupo-Moting in the Champions League, look, that's not going to win. That's not going to, add to the legacy of Bayern Munich. They're prolific winners. They're a European giant, and that Choupo-Moting doesn't fit that. Doesn't fit the criteria. A Harry Kane that fits the criteria. If Bayern Munich get a Harry Kane, they're immediately, you put them up to as one of the favorites to win the Champions League because, I mean, it's completely transformed. And you don't have to play, a Leroy Sané at striker, a Serge Gnabry. That was abominable. I still have nightmares about that. Serge Gnabry at striker. That was horrid. To switch that to a Harry Kane, look, that changes life. He's a life-changing player, and I think it'd be a great move. I would be surprised if they bite for anything under 90 odd million. I think he's valued at almost right under 100 million. So that's what I'm expecting the bid to be closer to. But I think it would be a great move for Bayern Munich. I think Bayern Munich fans should be looking at this with joy.
Yeah. Well, look, I agree. This right here is a match made in heaven, Harry Kane and Bayern Munich, because they both kind of need each other right now. We know Bayern Munich is a winning club, a European giant, but basically, I mean, last season they were disappointing. That team was not up to their standards. I mean, ultimately they did end up squeaking by and winning the Bundesliga, but it was too close for their liking. And obviously now they are looking to reload. They know that they have to get significantly better if they want to actually compete and win the Champions League. Because now we saw just how big of a gap there was between Man City and Bayern last season. It was a very significant gap. And they think that Harry Kane is the guy that can take them back right into Champions League contention. And I agree. If Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich, they are immediately a top three contender for me to win a Champions League. Obviously, I think Man City are still the front runners as of right now. And I think if Real Madrid are able to pull off the Kylian Mbappe signing, they are right there with them. Maybe even they overtake Man City. But Bayern Munich have to be in that mix if they can get this deal done. And I have a feeling they will because ultimately, I think it's time for Harry Kane to push Spurs and finally get this move. If he puts his foot down and says, get me to Bayern, they're going to sell him. They don't really have a choice. He's 1 year left on his contract. They don't want to let him go for free next season. This is the time you have to sell. I mean, I think everyone knows this is finally it for Harry Kane and Spurs. Like, this is it. He's going to leave. You know what I mean? He's not signing a new contract. It's time to go. And I think this is a perfect fit. It puts Bayern right back into contention. I mean, obviously, they were going to win the Bundesliga regardless. They might win the DFB Pokal regardless. Obviously, they're good enough to do that. But they cannot win the Champions League without signing a player like Harry Kane. They know that. Everybody knows that. And that's why this signing makes perfect sense. I expect them to come back with their second bid, a very much better offer, I would say, something that's actually going to entice Levy to actually sell Harry Kane. And I expect this deal to get done. I really do. I don't know how soon it's going to get done. Obviously, we're a bit still early in the transfer window, but I think this deal gets done relatively soon.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that was recently reported, wasn't it? Like either today
Just
or
today,
yesterday? Yeah,
this
just
morning.
today.
This morning.
Like it's still very, very new, and we all know like football politics how long this could take.
Yeah, no, it could take a couple more weeks to actually get all of
Hmm.
this stuff ironed out. We know Spurs are not necessarily an easy club to deal with. They're a bit stingy. They're going to want a very specific price, and they're not going to budge. Ultimately, I think Bayern Munich are going to cave in and pay what's needed to be paid in order to get Harry Kane because they know they need him. Who else is available for them to get that's really going to address the issues that they have? Nobody. There is nobody at the level of Harry Kane that is available that actually fits the issues that Bayern Munich have. Because we know, like I said it with Real Madrid, If they keep Hosselu as their starting number 9, they're not going to win the Champions League next season. That's exactly why Bayern Munich didn't contend to win the Champions League this season, because you can't win the Champions League with Choupo-Moting as your number 1 striker. You can't do it. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. And ultimately, they know that. They saw what happened last season. That's why I firmly believe they are going to push all of their chips in the Harry Kane basket and get this deal done, because they don't really have a choice. I think the Bayern Munich fans are not going to accept anything less, because they know they need to be competing. I think they are well aware that the Champions League is a bit wide open right now. City, we don't know exactly who they're going to bring in to re-strengthen, but they are losing guys. They just lost Gundogan. We don't know what's going to happen with Bernardo Silva. We do not know what's going to happen with Kyle Walker. They might be getting weaker. Real Madrid, we don't know what's going to happen with them. Obviously, they have a big hole at the number 9 position right now, though no disrespect to Hosselu. If Bayern Munich had Harry Kane and these teams fail to strengthen, they're right in the mix to be the front runner to win it. I mean, this team is loaded. This is a very good team.
A very, very deep team.
But what they lacked was a true number 9 once Robert Lewandowski left. And this is literally the perfect fit. I mean, Harry Kane is world class. He's the definition of world class. He's such a good player. And because he's on Spurs, I think sometimes he doesn't get the respect or credit he deserves. Not that people don't put him in that category, but I think he is much better than people give him credit for. And even though people say he's very good, I think he's even better than some people give him credit for, if that makes sense. Because of the fact he hasn't won trophies, and people just look over. Like last season, he scored 30 goals in the Prem. No one talks about it. Haaland, because he did his thing, but no one's talking about what Harry Kane did last season. One of his best seasons of his career in that shocking Spurs team. He's incredible. He takes Bayern Munich to a whole nother level. So this would be an incredible signing, and I think they have to get this done. Bayern Munich have to get this done, and they have the money to do it. So they just need to pull the trigger.
And Bayern Munich are usually like not big spenders. I mean, the last big spending they did was a little bit on Sadio Mane, but obviously there looks to probably get rid of Sadio Mane right now, which is but to me a bit, not a little bit off, a little bit off target. I think they should keep him.
I saw something.
Sadio Mane and Harry Kane.
I saw something today that the Senegal manager did say that as of today he expects Mane to stay at Bayern Munich. I don't think they're going to sell him.
Yeah,
this doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, that it wouldn't make sense, but to have that firepower, Sadio Mane and a Harry Kane, that is lethal.
They still have a Sane on the wing. They still have a Gnabry, which if you're rotating
Sane, as long as he's not in a fist fight with Mane, that's not bad. But but that's that's different issues. But I did want to pose this question to you, because I saw this one rolling around a bit over Twitter. That what would you do if you were Harry Kane? Or do you prefer to stay in the Premier League and become, basically, if he stays at Spurs, he's going to become the all-time leading goal scorer in Premier League history. He's going to break Alan Shearer's record.
Yep.
Or are you going to say what some people are saying, cop out, and go get basically easy trophies at Bayern Munich?
If I'm Harry Kane, I take the trophies at Bayern Munich any day of the week. I've seen people disrespecting the Bundesliga like always, and saying that if Harry Kane goes to Bayern Munich, it's basically like losing his virginity to a prostitute winning the Bundesliga title. And while I do understand what you mean by that, Harry Kane has to win trophies. A player of his level cannot end his career trophyless. And that's what literally might happen. Do you understand how crazy it is? A player of Harry Kane's caliber could end his career trophyless. And what I'll say is this: if he stays at Spurs and becomes the all-time Premier League leading goal scorer, but is trophyless at the end of his career, that's embarrassing. We're going to talk about Harry Kane, one of the Premier League's greats. The Premier League all-time leading goal scorer couldn't win a single trophy in his career? That's embarrassing. Like, he needs to value an actual trophy, no matter if you think it's Mickey Mouse or not. It's something he can put in his cabinet. He actually would have a trophy in his cabinet. Right now, he just has Golden Boot awards, but you need an actual trophy. I would value the actual trophy over an all-time Premier League goal scoring thing, because what's the point of being the all-time Premier League goal scorer if you can't have a single trophy? You have nothing. You stayed at Spurs your entire career and you won nothing. All you have to show for is a bunch of goals. Yes, you dominated the Premier League, the best league in the world. You tipped your cap. Great player, but you won fuck all. You have to go to Bayern Munich and win. And even if it's just the Bundesliga. But like we just said, if he goes to Bayern Munich, they are serious contenders to win the Champions League. And I don't see anybody saying the Champions League is Mickey Mouse. He has a serious chance to win the Champions League if he goes to Bayern Munich. And let's just be honest, he has a couple more years at this very peak. He's 29 years old. Maybe he has 4 or 5 seasons at the highest level, where he's really performing at this level. He'd be 33, 34. I think he can play up until that and be at this level. He has a realistic chance to win the Champions League in the next 4 years in Bayern Munich. You know what I mean? You go to Bayern Munich, you take the trophies all day. Sure, you would love to be the Premier League all-time leading goal scorer, But to me, trophies are much more important. You go and get the trophies.
Look, I don't completely disagree with everything you said, but I think just as a personal standpoint, I would take being the all-time leading goal scorer in the most difficult league in the history of football over just whatever trophy. And I'm not saying, comparing it just winning the Bundesliga, because I think it's a little bit hypocritical that you to bring up, oh, you're this all-time great player. You're just acknowledging how great and how everybody that knows how good Harry Kane is, but you haven't won any trophies. But that's associated with Spurs. When you look
Yeah,
back, oh,
I
who did
agree.
he play for?
It's
He played
Spurs'
for
fault.
Spurs.
It's Spurs' fault, but Harry Kane is the one that's
Yeah,
getting the blame.
and I get that. Look, he played for Spurs. They're not going to win anything, but that doesn't take away from anything that how great Harry Kane was. How you just said he had one of his best seasons of all time of his entire career. That doesn't take it away. So you have to look at it more the standpoint of you have to look at the player. I look at the player and look, he's won a lot of golden boots. To me, those are pretty impressive. And to be the all-time leading goal scorer in the Premier League, to break Alan Shearer's record, how long has that record stood? There's a lot of people that thought that record would never be broken. I mean, that's something that we're talking about here, something that would make it all time where we don't know the next time someone's going to break. If Harry Kane takes that record, who's going to beat that? It's going to be a really long time till someone breaks that record. And I just think that's more impressive than, winning a couple Bundesligas. And the only X factor is the chance, the opportunity to maybe win a Champions League. And I get that. But when you're talking about something that a lot of players win Champions League, some players don't win Champions League, but they're still all-time greats. To be that, on the top of that list, to be the number one all-time leading goal scorer in the Premier League, to me, that's just something that is different. To me, it's bigger than a trophy because that's not something that anybody can do. Because look, players can win trophies.
Yeah.
Any players can win trophies, but not anybody can be the all-time leading goal scorer.
I mean, Kingsley Coman has never lost a league title. He's won every league title he's ever been a part of. Okay, but let me say this to you. So you're Harry Kane. Let's just say you guaranteed when you sign the contract, in your 4-year stint. Hold on, I'm asking you the question. If you have a guarantee on your contract that says, in your 4-year stint in Bayern Munich, you're going to win 4 Bundesliga titles and 1 Champions League. You're still taking the Premier League all-time goal scoring over that.
I'll take that Premier League all-time goal scorer
over winning the Champions League and 4 Bundesliga titles. You're saying you still take that?
It'd be tough. Well, but you're playing a what-if game. That's a big what-if game. Okay, let's say
you're telling me Bayern Munich. You're saying Bayern Munich aren't going to win the next 4 Bundesliga titles?
Let's say you're saying and you're giving them 4 seasons at Bayern. Okay, well, let's just say I'm playing devil's advocate here. What's that 4 seasons Spurs win an FA Cup?
The FA Cup over the Champions League?
FA Cup?
Over the Champions League.
The FA Cup is a prestigious trophy. Don't you say that about the FA Cup. Look, it's
over
high up there.
The Champions League.
It's not the Champions League. Well, I'm pairing it with FA Cup and your all-time leading goal scorer in the Premier League history.
This is not even a debate.
That's
this is not a question.
That you're literally what? One, you're playing a what-if game. That's literally almost impossible to say, oh yeah, we 100% know.
What if Spurs win a trophy? That is almost
that's a good what if, because who knows? If you're gonna play that what if, I can play my own what ifs. But look, I'm just saying, from what we know, what's guaranteed from both sides. We know Bayern are no matter what gonna win the Bundesliga. That's a guarantee.
Exactly.
And we know a guarantee if Kane stays, he's gonna be the all-time leading goal scorer. So I'm purely only looking at that right now. That's all. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm gonna consider. And to me, I take that over 4 Bundesliga titles.
No,
just because it makes you 4 Bundesliga. It's like using your fucking virginity to a prostitute. How many brothels do you have to go to, bruv? Like, look, I get it. Look, trophies are nice to put in your cabinet, but when true people go back to look at how great Harry Kane was, he's an all-time leading goal scorer, all time. That's never gonna. Well, I'm not gonna say never, but that's gonna stand for a very, very, very long time.
I mean, but who's to say? Look, nobody expects Haaland to stay in the Premier League long enough to get up there. But let's just say, devil's advocate, Haaland, if he stays in the Premier League most of his career, he would easily break that record. So Harry Kane stays in Spurs just for Haaland to a few seasons down the line break his record, and he won nothing. He won fuck all.
Well, what the fuck? Now we're going to almost, Looneyville. It's like that's what people were saying back in the day when Cristiano Ronaldo was at United.
Hold on. Records are meant to be broken. Records always get broken. It doesn't matter if it's 50 years down the line, 20 years, 100 years. It's going to get broken at some point. Somebody is going to come in and break that record. Yes or no? Everyone knows that. That's facts. You can't deny that. Records are always there to be broken. Yes?
That is true.
Okay. But you can't take away 4 Bundesliga titles. That's history. That's always going to be there. Harry Kane will be 100 years old, and he can say, look at my trophy cabinet. I won 4, at the bare minimum, 4 Bundesliga titles.
Yeah. But he won the Audi Cup. No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I'm just saying me
Like
personally
you don't think
to
it would
be
be you don't think it would be embarrassing to be the all-time Premier League goal scorer and not have a single trophy? That's
no.
embarrassing.
How? Because when you know you're such an elite player, you were just giving him his flowers about how great Harry Kane and how all-time great. How is it embarrassing to be
But you
all-time
never won a
great?
trophy. You couldn't ever get across the line and win a trophy.
That's not his fault. That's how is that his fault? You're acting like he goes out there and he
But
just sells. He
I'm
does nothing to win. I That's more of a Spurs problem. It's the team problem, not the individual.
then
I'm looking at the
at a certain point you got to
individual.
just get up out of there.
Yeah,
You're too good of a player to not win anything. That's my thing with Harry Kane. You are too good of a player, too great of a player
in a
to
perfect
never win
world,
anything.
I wanted Harry Kane to stay in the Premier League. Preferably to another Premier League
A
team,
United, a
but
Chelsea, anybody.
United, anybody, just because I want to see the record broken. But if it comes down to record or just easy titles, I think as much as it's better for his career, I think it's smarter for his career to go to Bayern Munich. I think just me personally, just the person I am, I would rather be the all-time retire, knowing that what, when I left the game, ain't no one was a better goal scorer than me in that league. I own that league. That league is mine. That's just how I see it. But I'm not going to be fully opposed and up in arms to anybody that would say differently.
You make a fair argument for it. I can't deny that. But I just think you take the trophies. And I mean, look, who's to say, that he wouldn't at least win a trophy with England? I think that they have a very good chance to win the Euros. I mean, he
Maybe
might win a trophy with
to
England and
win the Euros.
we might be not be talking about it. But then the whole point is going to be, oh, he never won a trophy with his club.
Yeah,
That's not. It's never going to go away. Harry Kane, look, it would be great if he actually was able to win a trophy at Spurs, because at this point that would be very meaningful, I would think, because he stayed this long. He finally brought Spurs a trophy. You know what I mean? It would actually be kind of poetic in a sense, even though I don't want to see Spurs win a trophy. At this point, I feel bad for Harry Kane. Hopefully, just get something.
Harry
You know what I mean?
Kane
Get
can
something, please. You're too good of a player. That's why I wanted you to come to Chelsea. I think he was a perfect fit. Obviously, it was never going to happen. London rivals. And look, it wouldn't even happen with United. That's how stingy Daniel Levy is. This guy, oh my God, this guy is so stingy. So, look, it'll be a miracle if Bayern Munich are able to get the deal over the line. But I think that eventually they're going to pay up and get it done. And then, it's down to Harry Kane. He's going to have to make the decision that we just talked about. He's going to have to sit there and think, do I want to be the Premier League all-time leading goal scorer? Or do I want to actually win a trophy and guarantee myself, a fantastic legacy with trophies in it at Bayern Munich? He's going to have to make that decision. And ultimately, when this decision is finalized, we'll know what he actually values more. We'll find out. We'll have the answer to this question. But until then, what can we say? I mean, we'll have to continue to follow this transfer saga as it builds, because today was just the first day. We don't know what's going to happen from here. So we'll continue to follow it. We'll continue to keep y'all updated, make videos on it as it progresses. But I think unless you have any final words about Harry Kane, I think that's pretty much it for now.
I think that wraps it up for me.
So drop a comment down below what you think is going to happen. Slap a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel for more football content. But without further ado, I'm Zach.
I'm G.
And we'll see you next time for another video on the channel. Peace.